Here we are back into Warhammer after a year or two of hiatus. And one thing I'd like to say is every time they come out with codexes, every time they come out with editions, they have new units. I am done buying new units. I've got plenty of pieces as it is, so you might see some proxy units here. And as we're trying to learn what pieces are the best, we're using probably more proxy units than we have to, especially on the orc side, until we decide what we like. For example, these battle wagons are really trucks. And I call these preseason games because I have to see how everything works since they nerfed this and buffed that and they changed certain rules. So here we are just filling out what the armories are doing. Now, I do have the data sheets for our armies. He has the orc one right now. I have the world eater, and we're just seeing how this first round went. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is the Blessings of Khorne. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Trey. He's getting into Warhammer. He uses Death Guard, and I would use the orcs. We were just learning the 10th edition. He's never played, and he actually won. And that gave me a good idea of how the objectives worked. And we did a lot of things wrong. But anyways, the objectives really, localize your fighting around those objectives. So they have new stuff coming out that we'll try. But anyways, the Blessings of Khorne, you roll 8 dice, and you're trying to get doubles and triples and stuff. And there's a command point that you can get that can change those dice. I never used it. And there's also enhancements you can put on the Demon Prince. It costs 30 points that you can re-roll your Khorne roll. I didn't spend money on that because there was better enhancement I used for the Demon Prince. But I never needed it. You always rolled well. Just with your basic, the Lord of Skulls gets to, depending on how many models he kills, for every model he killed, you can change the dice by 1 up or down. So, and then Khorne Berserkers, if they're controlling an objective, you got to re-roll a dice. So that's all you needed. I never had a problem with that. But the Blessings of Khorne, the best ones for me was Rage Fueled Invigoration and Unbridled Bloodlust. The Rage Fueled is add 2 to your movement. That's huge. And then the Bloodlust, you are advancing and you can still declare a charge. So here you are moving 2, and you can advance, declare a charge on one of your units. So that was huge. I use that one a lot. The Wrathful Devotion, the Feel No Pain one, I didn't use that a whole lot. Sometimes I did try the Chaos Spawn in an army, which helps them out. But the ones that are Martial Excellence and the Warp Blades, that is for sustained hits, Martial Excellence. So that's cool. If the Berserkers are rolling 30 to 40 dice, and you get sustained hit 1, that means for every 6 you rolled on the hit roll, you got another hit. So that was cool. And then the lethal hits, for every 6 you rolled on the hit roll, a lethal hit is a 6 that automatically wounds. So those were cool. I used them quite a bit. The least one I probably used was the Total Carnage. Because I've always worked out where I got to hit first, and at some point it may come into play, but that was the least one. But anyways, the Blessings of Khorne are cool. And also for that movement one, there is a stratagem. I think it's called the Apocalyptic Frenzy, where you don't roll for your advance roll. You automatically get a 6. So the Blessings of Khorne are pretty cool. Now, okay, this is our second game. I'm actually using my army, the World Eaters, and I found that I first tried to put 3 squads of Khorne Berserkers in, and it just left me with not enough power. So I now changed it in the third game, our third preseason game. I used 2 squads and then a squad of Jackals. But again, I am not buying pieces. So, of course, what are my Jackals? They're represented on the board by Cultists. So, anyways, I only have 2 10-man squads of Khorne Berserkers in my army with 2 Rhinos. And the rhinos, I'll tell you right now, are very, very survivable on the field. You can get your berserkers in play and unload them. Now, speaking about transporting the corn berserkers, but let me just say before I talk about that, the objectives. We tried using, 6 objectives, scoring points for controlling them. And then we went down to 4 and followed the mission rules in the 10th edition. And so all the fighting really centers around these objectives. And then we tried the rolling to take an extra turn, and then when you were done with the game at the 5th turn, you rolled to see if you won an extra turn. And we played a game, one of our preseasons, without that roll, and it was kind of anticlimactic. It kind of stunk. So we put that roll back in. It really makes it more exciting. So make sure you use that roll to go an extra round. And then we tried one of our preseasons with secondary objectives, and then we took them out and we decided we liked the secondary objectives too. So it just adds more playability. But in these games, you'll see we're just fighting for these basic objectives that are in the middle of the board, and we kind of put them toward the ends, the edges here on the ends, and that's where the fighting takes place. But anyways, with the transports, with me and my son playing heavy laden melee units, we were learning that our transports are more durable. And so the rule is, if you move your transport, you can disembark your troops, but you can't charge with them after or move them, because the transport moving is basically a normal move for your troops. So you can't move the transports, unload them, and charge and all that. So if you look at this picture, I'm staring down a truck. If I unload my berserkers, I would have to charge the truck. I can probably destroy it. My turn's done. His men are out of the vehicle next turn, then he's going to charge me. And if you know anything about orcs and corn berserkers, whoever charges first is devastating. They're going to wipe out a lot. So you don't want to put your men out there vulnerable, so you got to get your transport in position one turn, next turn, but you don't want them out if they're going to be vulnerable after you do something. You got to be very careful with that. So we stare at each other here when we had like our next game, preseason game, and you don't unload. You're waiting for the other guy to unload, or you wait till you're forced to unload. So we found that happening quite a bit. So you really got to plan. Now, as far as transports go and working how they get destroyed, here's what we did. When a transport was destroyed, the first thing you did is you rolled to see if it exploded. And if it don't explode, then you unload your men 3 inches from the vehicle, and whoever cannot set up 3 inches from your vehicle and be at least an inch away, not in engagement range of your opponent, then they're dead. Now, once you set up your men, then you roll a dice, whoever made it out, and for every 1 you get a wound. Actually, it's a mortal wound. So that's the way that is done. However, once your vehicle takes its last wound and is destroyed, and you roll your dice to see if it explodes, that's the first thing you do. If it does explode, then you look up its rule, deadly demise, and it'll say deadly demise on a number. And so when it's destroyed, you roll whatever it says, D3, D6, and then whatever that number is, unit within 6 inches of that will suffer mortal wounds. And that only affects the units outside the vehicle. So then, once you do that for all the units outside the vehicle, then you go back to your units inside. You see if they can disembark. If units can't, they die. Then the disembark, you roll for them. And if they get a 1, it's a mortal wound. So that's how you run the destroyed transfers. The corn berserkers, back to my army. The relentless rage, that detachment roll. If they charge, they get 1 extra attack and 1 extra strength. So that kind of stuff is very killer. One other thing I will say is I love the Demon Prince. His survivability is great. He can really hit extra creatures. I like to give him the enhancement of the Berserker Clave, which adds 1 to the attack and damage of his melee weapons. But if he charges, you get to roll a d3. Until the end of the turn, you add that amount to your attacks and charges. Or your damages, I'm sorry. So that is really, really good. And he also gets Oath to Khorne. So he can pick a character model. It can be 1 unit, actually. And it becomes his sworn foe. And then when you attack that, you can re-roll your hit rolls and the wound roll. Now, the only drawback is if you don't kill that unit by the end of the game, your guy dies, which I don't think it really matters at the end of the game unless you're standing on an objective, I guess. But that really is incredible stuff to put on that Demon Prince. Now, the way the reserves work is, according to the rules right now, you can only put 25% of your army in strategic reserves. That means you can pick anybody you want and put them in strategic reserves, which is basically your reserves. And they have rules, though. They can't come in until turn 2, and depending on what turn they come in is where they can enter on the board. So you can read that, look that up. Reserves, your deep strike units, which they also call reserves, but deep strike specifically, can all be not set up in opening deployment. Your entire army can be deep strike, then it can be off the board. There's no limit to that I can find in the rules, and they can come in on turn 1, turn 2, 3, 4, 5. So any turn you want, and there's no limitations on your deep strike units. There's only limitations on the strategic reserve units. Even though they're all in reserves, there is a difference between strategic reserves and deep strike. So with those rules, I'll be showing more games of my armies and what we do. And my son with his orcs, you can see here he's got Mega Knobs in it, Killicans. He's trying different things too. And our preseason games come to an end. We had 3, and I lost every one of them. I think maybe got 1 draw, but I actually had 4, lost every one. And then I found out this is what I can do with my World Eater army without buying other pieces. Again, I had to cut off some arms and paste some new arms on that was holding a different, like, plasma pistol, because now you can put plasma pistols on your guys and it don't cost extra points. So why not do it? They're strong. They're good for good, boss leaders and stuff. So anyways, I found out what I need best for my World Eaters, and that's what you'll see coming up here. Will be our first official game now that we're both happy with the armies we picked. Even though my son has many different, about 5 or 6 armies made for his orcs, depending on who he's going to fight, and he's still working out his best things. But we did find that those beast, I don't know his army that well, but the beast Naga boys or something like that, they are very, very good. I tried the 8-bound in my army. I found them too expensive. Didn't really do more than I could have done with another 5 Khorne Berserkers. So I stopped using the 8-bound. I had Chaos Spawn in there, which were, they're pretty resilient, man. But they came up against one of his warlords riding some swag or something like that, a hog, and he took him out. So, I'll use Chaos Spawn if I have some points left, but that isn't really what I'm trying to get in my army. You'll see this game right here is what my final army is. So our preseason's done. So now the armies that we're putting on the table are armies that we believe is the best we can do and I can win with. Even though this one, I changed it up even again. You can see I have a squad right here of 5 Berserkers and 3 8-bound that'll go in one of the rhinos. Well, at the end of this game, I just took the 8-bound out. I thought they weren't worth their merit, and I just put 10 Khorne Berserkers. So I have 2 squads of Khorne Berserkers. The one squad of Khorne Berserkers I put in strategic reserve with the Juggernaut Lord because he buffs that squad. So I like that. The other 10-man squad will go on, Rhino and get out there and head to an objective. And then remember, you have to be very careful of when you unload. Make sure you strike first and hit hard. So what I did this game is with the Lord of Skulls coming out, along with the Rhino and the Hellbrute, all went on one side. And the Lord of Skulls would destroy the trucks of the orcs. He can destroy one truck a turn. It's pretty easy for him. I even split fire once in a while, and then with the orcs jumping out the following turn, I would unload the Khorne and try to attack. Now, he has a lot of beast nagas. He had knobs. They're very powerful men, so my Khorne Berserkers were only going to get one hit, and then I have to, then I would lose them, because once he hits, I'm going to lose him too. But at least the Lord of Skulls, when he destroys a truck, the orcs come out. I will charge with him also first. And so with this combination, I was destroying a lot of orcs. The Demon Prince, his sworn foe, is always one of the characters, which was his warlord. And it really helps me out. Unfortunately, I never got in a battle with the warlord. His warlord, as you will see, took out the Lord of Skulls. And then I like the Terminators. They're in Deep Strike. I always like something in Deep Strike. I mean, you just need to do it. It's just beneficial. So in Deep Strike, I have the Terminator squad, the 10-man Khorne Berserker squad with a Juggernaut, Chaos Lord on a Juggernaut, and the Demon Prince. So I like to always have Deep Strike. I can bring them in when and where I want. Now, the Berserkers and the Chaos Lord on the Juggernaut are strategic reserves. The Terminators and the Demon Prince are Deep Strike. So this is the army. It's a 2,000 point army, incursion army. Now, I'm going to let Liam say his army, but something was happening to my microphone on the camera, and you're going to hear a buzzing noise for why he talks. Sorry about that. You're up.
Is it going?
Yep.
Alright, so...
Need to look at this at all?
No, I think not. So, for the orcs, I think what works best is just swarming and controlling objectives rather than really trying to kill. So what I have here is I have a lot of proxy units because I'm still finding what works best, but this is a squad of knobs at the war boss. They're a very tough unit when they're all together. This is Boss Snickrot and the commandos because they have an ability where they can teleport anywhere on the field, which is powerful. They also have some small bonuses, like you can't overwatch them. There's a 20-man squad of Gretchen with Zodrog Wartsnaga. And
yeah, kind of hard to say those names.
Yeah, they're really good because of how fast they move. And the Gretchen are just kind of bodies to protect him while he goes in and does the damage when they fight. There's another squad of 10 Gretchen with Runther. They're just there to sit in the back, hold an objective, because anytime the Gretchen have objectives, you can roll for CP. These are all squads of Beast Snaga boys, and these three are all beast bosses because when they're with the Beast Snaga boys, they hit really hard. And then this doesn't have a beast boss. This is just an extra squad I put just to have an extra squad. This is a beast boss on a Squigosaur. I know it doesn't look like it, but we're just using proxy units because he's very hard to kill and he hits really hard. And this is Nosrog. Again, hits really hard and really hard to kill. And I have 4 trucks for transports because they're cheap and they're decent for the price.
Yeah, we're just using proxy units right now until we decide that this is what we like, and then we'll get the real units. But this is what same thing. He's had 2. The orcs. Liam has had 2 practice games, and this is what he's come up with that he thinks will be the best. And remember what he said in the beginning. The main goal was really not to destroy your opponent or try to kill him, but he's there to swarm the objectives and hold them. And his those
around an OC, that's 20 points. None of my guys can hold that. It's like I have to kill them all, so, or at least half of them. Then try to get him battle shock so he can't control that objective. So, anyways, we will be starting this game.
Now the Gretchen, he just brings in his back objective there just to control it, and then he uses them because every command phase, if he gets a 4 or better, that he gets an extra command point. Now the commandos, they're either infiltrators or he sets them up with the jump, the weird boy, and he likes to use them with the jump. And then my army's pretty basic here. These cultists here are actually jackals, and I put them in this army just to control the objective, because then they can walk away and I still control the objective until he takes it. And then in Deep Strike here I have the Demon Prince, 10 Khorne Berserkers, and Terminators. And with the Khorne Berserkers is the Chaos Lord on a Juggernaut, which I really like. It really buffs them good. You can check that out. And so on this side is a squad of 8 bound, 3 men, and 5 Berserkers. They're in that Rhino. And then you've seen the Lord of Skulls and my Hellbrute. So I go first here, and I attacked his transports. And we'll go over and how you work the transports and Deadly Demise here in a minute, but I destroyed it. And then his squad has to come out, so I like that. I want to get his squads out of the truck, because the trucks are harder to kill. You get the squads out and I can start killing the men faster. So I'm working on that whenever I'm fighting melee units. And then what he does on his turn is he decides to jump the commandos, and that's why he didn't infiltrate with them, or he chose not to, and he jumped them over here to this objective. So now he's on these objectives, and I've got to get some Deep Strike units over there to where those commandos are and take care of those commandos.
Okay, so what I decided to do is my Blessings of Khorne, and I got to use my Lord of Skulls. If he destroyed a unit, I can change it 1 dice, add 1 to it or subtract, so I did. Anyways, the 2 fighting melee ones I'm going to put on the Lord of Skulls, because I don't want to unload my troops yet, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But the fighting ones I always go for is, I like to go for the Martial Excellence and the Warp Blades, because that helps on my die rolling and killing a lot of guys. So Lord of Skulls gets that. Now the problem we talk about, me and my son here, is now if I unload my Berserkers and charge his Gretchen, because I got to get him off that objective. Well, his Orcs are just going to unload and then charge me, and that's how you lose your men fast. So that's how I've been losing my Khorne Berserkers, because he's putting 50 hits on them. They can't save them all. So I'm not going to unload yet. I'm going to wait, and we'll see what happens there. Because he's got those knobs, which are 2 wounds each, and they put a lot of attacks on. They have the War Boss right there on them. They can really, really do a lot. I definitely have to challenge him for the objectives right now. So I put the Rhino up in there. Even though he out-controls me, I drop Terminators here, and I hope I can kill enough where I get him off that. And I brought my Demon Prince. It's hard to see right there. I put him on this building on the 2nd floor. Okay, man, I tried to get rid of everything he had over there. Now those Orcs, remember I was talking about, they are battle shocked, but they're only battle shocked till the start of his command phase. So he got a
I rolled higher than a 6.
his command phase started, they become unbattle shocked, and then he had to roll for a battle shock test, and he's passed. And his commandos passed too. He passed both battle shock tests, therefore he took control of both those objectives. So he gained 3 objective points this turn on top of his 1. So he now has 4, and I only have 2. So it's 4-2 in his favor. He's just trying to overpower me with objective points on these objectives, with objective control. So we'll see, man. Okay, the Orc's turn is done, and really, he put a lot of damage on the Rhinos. I'm only going to collect 1
objective point.
4-3 still. So those are knobs, huh?
No, those are Beast Boys.
Oh, so Beast Boys, 4 of them, and a boss,
A Beast
a
Boss.
Beast Boss went after my 5 corn berserkers that I charged them with, and we killed them all. But I had to use my 8-bound. I charged my 8-bound and corn berserkers. Anyways, he put 11 and 3. Yeah, he put 14 hits on me,
On the
minus
combat.
1 AP, and I had to save him. And he killed 1 berserker and put a wound on another one. What a roll. That's the best roll I've had so far in this game. Anyways, it's Orc's turn 3, and I stopped him from getting the objective point on this one and that one, so he only went up 1. He's winning 5-3 right now. Now he's going to try to take this one back here, but it's going to be close again. Man, having a lot of guys really does it, but we'll see. Okay, so his warlord, Mazrog, he's over there, but I spent a command point and I took shots at him. I put 6 wounds on him in Overwatch. Anyways, you got 3 attack? Let's see him. What do you need? 2 up?
I need 3 up.
3 up. What'd you get?
2 hits.
You got
But-
2 hits?
I got my stratagem I did, which gives me a 5+ is a critical hit, so it's a devastating wound.
So you got him 1 mortal wound.
But it has multiple damage. But yeah, that's 1.
Right, it's a mortal wound. Okay, so he not only did he have critical hits, but he has devastating wounds.
I need a 5 on this though.
Okay.
Anyway,
See the roll. Go ahead.
so all them hit, and I got sustained hits,
Okay. You get sustained hits.
and then strength is 8, but you got 14.
Yes. So you're 5s.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
He needs 5s.
So
You
I
only
got
got
2.
1. Oh, 2. Sorry, I didn't see.
And sorry, I keep covering you.
That's all right.
And those are 2 critical wounds.
2 critical wounds. Yeah, his warlord is awesome against Titanics and vehicles. He put 16 wounds, and I already had 1, so there's 17 wounds on my Lord of Skulls right now. 16. And I put 6 on him. I'm going to try to kill him now because we can't have that happen again. So this is turn number 4 for me, and it was a big decision because he pulled this truck and got next to an objective. Remember, he collected 3 points on objectives last turn, so this is the only one I had, and I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to try to take this one from him. I should be able to, because I got Corn Berserkers and a Juggernaut Lord fighting his guys. Then over here was the big decision. I don't think I could have got that one from him. So I was deciding, should the Lord of Skull, who has only 1 wound remaining, hit the truck, get him off that, and then possibly let his leader live here. His leader is unbelievable. He has a 4 feel no pain and a 4 vulnerable save. And what I did was, and because my Lord of Skulls is wounded, I have to add 1 to my hit roll. So it was 4 ups, and I rolled 3 hits, and I spent a command point to re-roll 1 of them, and I got it. So I put 4 hits on him. His feel no pain stopped too, so he had 2 4-up vulnerable saves to make, and he missed them. What do you think of this, Liam? What do you think of that, your warlord going down?
Not good.
So that really helped me out a lot now. So now I just need to kill enough orcs there to control that objective, because the one squad in front are Beast Boys, right, or Knobs?
The one in front of the
Yeah,
Beast Boys,
close.
the Beast Snagger Boys.
Okay, and they're 2 OC each, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8. The Knobs are 1 each, so it's 9, 10. So he has 10 points around that objective as of right now. My Lord of Skulls goes down to 4. Hellbrute is like 3, Rhino's 2. So I match them right now. So I'm going to charge, kill some, and I should be able to take that objective. I should be able to keep this one. It'll come down to this one now on my charge, on my fight phase, see if I kill enough of them. So the charge is done. All my charges made it. I'm hitting both these squads with this unit, so we'll see how it goes. All right, let's start with, I control every objective on the board, so that all worked, oh, except the one in the back, but that worked out. However, the Lord of Skull only has 1 wound remaining, and he played his stratagem on that, where even if they die, they get to fight back. And he ended up hitting twice.
Yes.
he put 2 wounds on the Lord of Skull, -1 AP. That means my save is a 4, and I have to roll 2 4s here. Let's see what I get. Otherwise, the Lord of Skull is going to take a big boom boom.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go.
So he's missed 1.
That's enough, right? You only have 1 move left?
Lord of Skulls goes
Now,
Not my
down.
leader.
I'm gonna
Just
go-
letting you know, my leader still gets to hit too.
He-
That was my fault.
No, you should be a 5.
I should be at
Okay.
6 now.
Yeah, you're at a 6. So he collected 1 objective point. So he's at 6. I'm at 4. But the next round, unless he does something here, I should be able to hold on to quite a bit here. We'll see. It's his turn. Let's see what he does. He doesn't have a lot left. Command phases are quite exciting because here he has 2 OCs. I have 3, 4, I have 5. So I'm going to go up 1 on that. So that gives me 5. And he has 6, right? No, what do you have?
Oh, you have 6 points.
Yeah, he has 6. So that gives me 5. And then over there, we're actually tied. I have 3 OC. He has 3 OC. Nothing. But I do own that one. So I now go up another one. So it is now 6-6. Okay, so my Demon Prince, I used the Blessings of Corn. I put 2-inch move, and he can advance and charge. And I barely made it, but we got it. So we're engaged. But now, when you start the fight phase, guess what? Everybody around that Demon Prince or an engagement range has to roll a Battle Shock test. So I could stop him right now from controlling that objective. Let's see the roll.
Got my weighted die.
What's his leadership?
7.
Hey, he needs more than
Got
7.
my weighted
yeah,
die.
he uses
so
weighted
they
dice.
always have 6s.
Yeah, see that? Those dice are all on turn 5, Liam's turn, and he doesn't get any points for the objective. So we are tied 6-6. I came from behind. I was 2 points down in this game. Anyways, Battle Shock is going to come into play. Who we rolling for first?
And the knobs.
Okay, the
They need
knobs,
6.
leaders. Ah! Oh, they got it. So the knobs
waited
are
that.
okay. Where
Both
else?
the commandos.
The commandos right here.
Let me double check. I think they need 6 as well. Yeah, they do.
He failed. They cannot control that. Well,
And that's
Again,
I
it only
command
ma-
points to
yeah,
reroll.
that's right. It only matters if we go another turn. But
That's true. They're not gonna survive.
But
No,
right
I
now-
ain't doing that. All right.
Okay,
let's
so-
do the beast boss on the
Beast
switch.
Boss, what's his leadership?
6.
6. And he failed that one. So both of these are battle shocked.
So I can't even hold it. No, I'm gonna reroll one of these. There's a 3 and a 1. I'm gonna reroll the 1.
You're gonna roll the 1. Okay, he's gonna re-roll 7.
Let's go.
He got it. So this one's back in play. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. So it's his move.
Telepathic
Okay.
communication with the dice.
We just finished turn 5. I put a stratagem on my Hellbrute over there that he had a -1 off his damage characteristics because his weapons all put 2 damage each. So that really helped out. So he got 5 wounds put on him and he survived. And then when I attacked back, I killed 2 of the knobs. So I now control that objective. I control that objective. I control that objective. So we are rolling for an extra turn. Now, I know the rules in 10th edition don't really say, anything about that, but remember, this is like the 4th game we've done now. We've already learned that not having the chance to go an extra turn really made a game and anticlimactic and didn't, it was like kind of boring. Where now, we decided to keep that rule in that you could go an extra turn, and it really makes things exciting. Like right now, Liam's going to roll, and if he gets a 3 or higher, we're going to go another turn, and I'm going to win the game. If he doesn't get a 3 or higher, if he gets a 1 or a 2, we don't go another round, and we end up in a draw, 6-6. Let's see the roll.
I need to give my dice a little pep talk.
Where are you rolling at?
Right here. Come on.
Let's see the roll.
You've been working for me this whole time. I love you, dice.
You've been rolling
Don't let me
dude,
down.
5 and
Don't
6.
let me
They're
down,
they're
Dice.
all weighted.
I believe in you, Dice. Work for me.
Wah! Okay.
We do go another turn.
John, what about command points?
So
Reroll.
when we said, oh yeah, and we decided, we learned this a long time ago, like in 8th edition, that we would let you can use your command point to re-roll. This is a roll, so he's going to use his command point.
Come
Let's
on!
see the re-roll.
Work with me!
It's still the 3.
Alright.
So, now to start this round, I would collect 3
So you would
points, and I would take the game. But, you know, there is a chance to go a 7th, you roll a 4 or higher. Do you think you have a chance if I'm going up 3 right now? Because you're only
No.
going to be on 1. Right, you won't. So, the first regular season game, the World Eaters have won their first match. Because remember, I was fine-tuning this army. And there's still something I'm going to do with my Terminator weapons. Because the paired accursed weapons are really good. And I'm going to give them more of those. But other than that, this is about the best I can do with the World Eater army. You're going to change the orcs around a little?
Yeah, I don't like the deep strike guy. I just
Okay.
put a squad in deep strike. I think that's
But
kind
you like the commandos, right?
Yeah, but not this. This is just a regular squad of beast
Yeah.
Dragons. I already revamped it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he's already revamped his army. So we are going to fight again. And now I'm going to bring out my Chaos, Khorne Chaos Demon army. Because I really like that one. We'll see how it goes.